I could probably get a new pair. But I was a little stingy back there.
Brandon, how have you felt in fall camp, and where do you feel like you've improved since maybe even last spring?
I feel good where I'm at right now. Going off of last season, just been really focusing on being more consistent and working on those things I struggled with last season. So I feel like this camp, I kind of been taking advantage of it so far. And, going into the season, just hoping I can get better from last year. That's the main goal for fall camps right now.
What was the value for you of all of those reps you got and those starts you got at the back end of last season?
Great value to those reps because you learn from them as a player. Coaching also helps. They help you. They just going through the things and let you know what you can work on and what you could focus on and get better at. So, those reps add a lot of value for me and, for my growth as a player.
How important is it, man, that Josh is the same to your left, Melvin's the same to your right, just to have that continuity?
It feels great, because we already have that connection, that brotherhood, coming off of last season, going into this one, we all know each other, so it's not like we're starting over, so we just basically picking up where we left off, and it's been good so far.
What's maybe something you notice that's different, just because you guys have that connection? Is it easier to make calls and adjust on the fly?
Yeah, no doubt. A lot easier to make calls, a lot easier to communicate with each other, and just going out there getting the job done together. Something we're not what we're used to now, so it feels pretty the same.
You got here, you played pretty much every position on the offensive line, and Coach Miller made it sound like you're focusing more on right guard. How does that help you to not have to juggle between 2 or 3 or 4 different positions?
Now it feels great, but it also feels good to have that versatility to play all the other positions on the O-line. But last year I was playing that kind of role of where they needed me, and right guard was where they needed me, and that's kind of where I feel then. So that's been my main focus ever since then. So,
what have you seen from some of the younger guys? And is there anybody that you feel like you've been able to take under your wing, or you really connected with?
Brandon Henderson, he's one of those younger guys. He's next up, and right now we have a lot of seniors on the O-line. I'm the youngest, so Brandon he's been doing good. We just try to keep him under my wing and give him pointers and tips on things he could work on, and just trying to keep his confidence up. The younger guy. So Brandon Henderson has been one of those guys I've been talking to a lot.
We just got started with Melvin Priestley here too, guys.
You mentioned right guard was where they needed you last year, but what do you feel like maybe suits you about that spot? What do you feel like you do well really playing right guard?
That's a great question. I don't know. I'm a coachable guy. I feel like coaches can talk to me and I can kind of adjust. I feel like that's kind of helped me as a player, and just going out there and dominating has been my key thing, and I feel like I do a good job at that. Blocking guys head up, or taking guys on a double up to a linebacker. I feel like I'm pretty good at that type of stuff. So
I don't know how much you guys are going full speed, but what's the competition been like with the D-line, and has there been anybody that has made life hard on you so far in fall camp?
It's always competition between the O-line and D-line, but all of us are connected. We're all brothers, but I wouldn't say no one has given me a headache. Fall camp has been fun, and love compete with those guys, and we're just trying to do each other better every day. So
all 5 starters back, but knowing Coach Bart Miller the way I do, he doesn't want to just hand the job to anybody, right? So
yeah.
How intense has the competition been here in training camp?
Oh yeah, Brandon Henderson has kept me on my heels. So I know nothing's guaranteed, but I've been working to keep my spot, and I feel like a lot of guys can say the same. Competition's been there for sure.
It wasn't important for you to take him under your wing when he's also pushing you for that spot. It seems like obviously I'll get along now, but
yeah,
it's kind of a lot of competition for you to really continue to.
We're competing, but at the same time, it's still my little brother, so I don't want to be a bad teammate or brother towards him. He looks up to me, and I just try to be that guy that voice for him. So
how much do you talk to guys on the D line of how did this work, or how did you get by me, or what makes life harder for, do you get any feedback from them or give them any feedback on stuff that they do that makes it harder on no lineman?
Oh yeah, no doubt. We talk mostly, not really between players, but maybe after practice in the locker room, catch up what did I do that made you do it, basically what did I do? What did you see that I did that made you do the moves that you did? You know, what could I work on? You know, the same way with them. Like, basically, they ask the same. Like, you know, what can they do to fix their technique? And you know, we just kind of look out for each other both sides of the ball.
The O-line finished the season strong, but a little bit of a slow start to the season last year. What do you think the key is to coming out of the gate strong against Western?
Just basically not overlooking our competition. We, you know, plan to take each week, treat everyone like they're a Big Ten opponent, or you know, just treating everyone with the same level of respect. No one to go on them just doubting them, and then that's how you get beat. You know, going out there, we playing Western Illinois, but you go out there and doubt them, they beat you, then now it looks bad on your end. So we just try to keep that respect for all our opponents.
Was there a lot of off-season film of a review? What are some of the things you guys saw on film that you wanted to improve at this season?
You saying as an O-line?
Yeah.
You know, we worked a lot on just dominating consistently on a consistent basis. You know, some plays you have those plays where you might, you know, mess up or lose a block. You know, we just been working on the strain up front and finishing blocks, and you know, because that's how a lot of big plays happen: the strain and the finish each play. So that's what we've really been working on.
Are you talking with Coach Lunny about drawing up some more plays for you, or
No,
where's that stand?
He said we can't do it, but you know, I'm still pushing the agenda to get that another big man tootie. So I talk about it all the time, but you know, they say my time is past for that.
I mean, do you bring up the fact that like you scored? Like,
Yeah,
it
no
worked?
doubt.
Like, you gotta do it again.
No doubt, I bring up that play every time we're in the team meeting. Any chance I get, people ask me what's my favorite play. I always bring up that play. That's definitely my highlight of this last season. But yeah, I insisted to Coach Lunny all the time. Like, hey, we should put another play in for me. Like, he's like, nah, your time is past. They on to you now. So no more big man tutties no time soon for me.
You mentioned dominating a few times and probably cutting it loose. Like, how do you personally foster that mindset to dominate and to cut it loose and kind of play with that aggression?
For me, so I started playing football like my freshman year of high school. So like the high school program I was at, you know, Coach Sunkett, he was a very tough coach, and you know, he kind of instilled that in his players. And we had a great O-line coach, and that's kind of been instilled with me. And I grew up with Melvin, so like my freshman year out there, Melvin wasn't there, but like my sophomore year when he got there, it was just a different, you know, he was a different kind of leader for the O-line. So he kind of pushed us to be the intense type, and he's been a great leader for me since.
There are multiple guys from Eastside on this team. Do you guys hang out together, or is there a connection there?
Oh yeah, so me and JoJo are actually roommates, you know, for the first 2 years. So this year we finally split up. So we both moved on our own places, but you know, me and JoJo are close, and me and Melvin are close. And Carson, you know, when he was at East St. Louis, you know, we were close. We still are close. But yeah, a lot of great relationships. A lot of East St. Louis guys on the team, so we're all pretty close.
I think for you, like last year, you were pushing Zai, right? Now Brandon's pushing you. So what did you learn last year, kind of being in a different position? How do you use that now?
Kind of just taking advantage of the opportunity. You know, I got my opportunity. I feel like I kind of seized it, and you know, this year but right now I'm working on not getting complacent and getting comfortable, because anything could happen. Like, you know, it happened last year, but you know, anything can happen. So I know my goal is to just to keep getting better, you know, every day, finding that one thing I should work on and just get better at it.
It kind of feeds into my question. Anything you do in particular to fight that, like training camp can be kind of long, like how do you fight that complacency?
You know, there's going to be days where you just feel like, I'm tired, like I don't feel like doing it, but man, like you won't get anywhere by doing that. So like, just me, I reflect back on like my why, basically, like who I do it for, what I'm doing it for, and it's always something bigger than myself. Like when I'm out there, I'm not just out there for me, but I'm representing, like, you know, my brothers next to me, my brothers on the team, and family back at home, and I would hate to let those guys down. That's kind of what pushes you to be better every day and not get complacent and be comfortable where you are. You know, just basically, yeah, the guys around me, just everyone around me pushing me to be the best me every day. So
I remember you